Well, the big baseball news, the last big remaining free agent was signed, and that's Alex Bregman. And he signed a 3-year, $120 million contract with the Boston Red Sox. And I said, wow, maybe the Yankees have some competition in the American League East now. Let's talk to my good friend Pete Abraham, who's covered the Red Sox forever for the Boston Globe, does an unbelievable job doing that. Now he joins us live from Florida. Pete, how you doing?
Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great. So what does this do for the Red Sox mindset and also the fan base who have always been complaining the last couple of years, rightfully so, that the team doesn't want to spend money?
Yeah, yesterday was a big day for the Sox in a lot of ways. I think when you look at the baseball part of it, they get a leader in the clubhouse that they really needed. They haven't had that for a few years, and it's shown up on the field. They also get a big improvement to their infield defense, which is something they very much needed. Watching them last year, you could see how bad they were on the infield. Bregman is probably going to...
Oh, no. It's the second day in a row we've had that happen. No. It was Boone on Tuesday. So this is Thursday. This is the second boop of the week. But we'll get him back. But it is an intriguing possibility. I want to talk to Pete definitely about, improving the defense, but where's he going to play? He just won a Gold Glove at third base. He's supposedly amenable to playing second, but that's not his best position. I think he's played 30-odd games in the majors at second base. So would there be any chance that they play him at third and actually take, their highest salaried player and move him to DH? That's what we'll have to ask Pete if and when we get him back. 1-800-919-3776, and he is back. Pete, we lost you there for a second. So you were saying that it improved the infield defense.
Yeah, they're going to be a much better team defensively with Bregman, whether he ends up at second base, which I think will be initially where he plays, or eventually at third base if Rafi Devers ends up as the DH. And that's been a big problem for them going back a couple years. So their pitchers are a lot happier today, and the fan base is a lot happier today because the Red Sox have finally landed that big fish that they've been waiting.
Oh, no. I mean, are they not paying their bills in Boston? Very odd. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to the phones as we try to get back Pete. Let's go to Izzy in Cleveland. Izzy.
What's up, Michael?
Hey, Izzy. How you doing?
Good. You. Now, I wanted to say how you were saying, and everybody, the whole world is saying, how the Yankees clear-cut are number one best in the AL, and I 100% disagree. I want to go number one. The Red Sox are 100% better.
100% better. Okay.
Yeah. Number two, why are we forgetting about the Orioles, who controlled us last year, who won us 22-2, 25-3. I don't remember the exact score. They beat us in every series. They won us. They controlled us. And had the Royals not knocked them off, there would never have been a fifth inning. There would never have been a World Series. And then I think the Tigers. Look at them as I think they're going to get
Izzy, thank you for the phone call. You're not making any sense. You're saying you're a Yankee fan. You're not. You're obviously not. Yeah. Listen, can any of those teams? I don't think the Tigers can. Can the Red Sox or the Orioles finish ahead of the Yankees? Yeah, of course they can. But I believe that the Yankees are the best team in the American League. Let's see how it plays out. I think we got Pete back. Pete, you're not paying your phone bills or what? Oh, I thought we had him back. We don't. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Ryan in Manhattan. Ryan.
Hey, Michael. So I wanted to ask quickly regarding Ben Rice. So obviously, I mean, look, he was a young kid coming into the the league. Obviously, has the big 3-homer game, which no Yankees ever done. And I feel like as a young kid, that obviously can overwhelm you, right? You always want to get back to kind of like that amazing, dopamine rush that you had. And I feel like, when I saw that, I was so excited, but obviously I was just like, okay, it can only go down from here. Right. And obviously there are countless examples. You can name this better than I can, of rookies coming in and not having the best first season and then coming out swinging the next year. Right. Judge obviously being a classic example of that. I'm not saying Ben Rice is going to be Judge, but I think that he's incredibly underestimated right now. And I think he almost might have a bigger breakout season than Jason Dominguez because the power is there. And you just look at his numbers.
Well, Ryan, how? Where's he playing? Amazing. Ryan, where's he playing? He's either going to be the backup catch. Well, he's going to be a backup first baseman. The majority of the time he's going to go to Goldschmidt. So how's he going to have a breakout season?
Right. Well, if Goldschmidt gets injured, or as a backup catcher, but I think regardless of whether or not he has a breakout season, I think, in my opinion, and please tell me if you disagree with this, is that I think he's underestimated and maybe not talked about enough, and I think that he could potentially be huge for the Yankees.
Well, I think you might be right, Ryan, when it comes to the fans, but I think the Yankee organization is very high on Ben Rice. They think that swing plays beautifully at Yankee Stadium, and the league caught up with him, and now he has to make adjustments. But in order for him to have a breakout season, Austin Wells has to get hurt or Goldschmidt has to get hurt because he's not going to get a lot of time. I mean, there's a chance he makes the team as the backup catcher because they're a little light on backup catching after trading Trevino. So we'll see. Now we do have Pete Abraham back. Pete, the Globe's not paying the phone bill. What's going on there?
I don't know. I could hear you, Mike, but you couldn't hear me. I'm not sure what was going on.
All right, so the question I have, why would they put him at second when Devers is not a good third baseman defensively? Isn't it just easier to have Devers be the DH?
It should be, yeah, but he's only in the second year of a 10-year deal. I think it would make that deal look pretty bad if now you have a guy that you've signed for that much money as your DH for the next 10 years, the next 8 years. So I think initially they want to try to give Devers every opportunity to stay at third base. They talked about the work that he did in this winter, trying to improve defense.
All right, we're gonna have to say thank you very much for the phone call because it's not working out with Pete. Maybe we'll get him on another day, but that's 3 drops, and 3 drops you're out. 1-800-919-3776. Time for you to be the co-host. Daniel Tosh has added a second show at the Beacon Theater on Friday, April 4th, and ESPN New York has your chance to score tickets on the ESPN New York app. Just find the contest tile and submit your entry. Brought to you by Live Nation. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Now, my rebuttal to what Pete just said, first of all, the 10-year deal for Devers looks bad for this reason. He's a great hitter. Just ask Garrett Cole. But he doesn't want to be a team leader. He doesn't always talk to the media. He's not there to answer questions for the younger teammates when things go wrong for the Red Sox. That's the money you're paying him over a 10-year deal is money that you pay to a front-facing guy who's going to face the music, like Aaron Judge faces the music every single day. Great players face the music every single day. Rafael Devers doesn't want to. He just wants to play. So the Red Sox top priority should be, where are we a better team? And they're a better team with Bregman, who just won a Gold Glove at third, not Devers at third. Devers not a good third baseman. He's a great hitter. He's not a good third baseman. And you know the reason they signed Devers to that 10-year deal? Because they got excoriated in Boston for letting Mookie Betts go by trading him to the Dodgers because they didn't want to pay him. Made no sense then. Makes no sense now. It will never make sense. It's one of the black marks on the Red Sox organization. And the Red Sox, when they were on their run, they were always in the top 5 when it came to payroll. And that has not been the case over the last, 8 years. They finished last 3 times. Boston Red Sox, they print money. They own Nesson like the Yankees own Yes. Fenway Park is a gold mine. So they just stopped spending. Now, they were in on the Soto sweepstakes, but they were a distant third or fourth behind the Mets, and then the Yankees and the Blue Jays probably offered more as well. So they tried. They certainly tried, but they couldn't give away their money, it seemed like, the last couple of years, and now they have. They said they were going to be full throttle. That was what one of their owners said. They were full throttle. Well, you got to spend money to be full throttle, and Bregman gets the money finally. He finally gets the money. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Richard in Manhattan. Richard.
Michael, I think the worst thing in sports is hearing the word tanking. I hate hearing you guys on the radio, the sports hosts, and you have to say it. Well, the players want to win, but the coaches want to win, but the management wait. There should be no thought at all of the word tanking for the National Football League and the NBA. And here's how I will eliminate it. You're not going to like it because you're going to tell me the flaws in it. That means you don't think that the tanking is so bad. That's all it means to me. You have to eliminate it. The only way you can eliminate it, the NFL has 32 teams. Your final 4 in the playoffs are not in the lottery. The other 28 teams are in the lottery. Everyone has an equal chance, 1 out of 28. NBA, your 30 teams, your last 26 teams are in the lottery. That's it. I don't care whether you stink and you get the 28th pick in the draft. That's your fault for stinking, because you can have the number 1 pick and still mess it up. We know this. Why should the fans have to talk like this? Why should we hear radio hosts saying, well, they're not going to try to win, or they're going to win. It's better for them to lose and get the. This is ridiculous talk. You know it and I know it. Look what the football's done with the replays and making overtime fair. They've gone out of their way for fairness. This is not fair when we talk like this, tanking and no tanking and advantage to lose. This is the worst thing in sports. I mean, I can't believe it, and something has to be done. It has to be drastic, and this is, to me, the only way. Yet everyone is in the lottery. That is it. So it's got flaws, but I think that's the only way you can solve the problem.
I don't hate it. It defeats the purpose of what the draft is about, to make the bad teams better. But as Richard said, if you're bad, then it's on you. You've built the team the wrong way. You've allocated your resources incorrectly, and you're a bad team. But if you do it that way, bad teams are going to be bad for a long, long time. The way that a bad team could all of a sudden get better is that they could strike gold in the lottery or in the draft. You're not going to be able to do that. I think if you eliminate the order of finish and you take the Final Four, as Richard said, and then have 28 teams in the lottery with nobody having more weight than the other team. So even if you have the worst record, you don't have more quote-unquote ping pong balls. It would eliminate tanking. It would also eliminate parity. The good teams are going to stay good, and the bad teams are going to stay bad, which is what every league does not want to have. They want their teams to have a chance to win. They want their fan base to think they have a chance to win. Let's go to Mr. Ray in Connecticut. Mr. Ray.
Mr. K, always a pleasure, sir.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Very good.
All right. Well, I just wanted to touch quickly on the Stroh situation, because, I mean, as for myself, I can speak for, but I know a lot of Yankee fans, we appreciate, and we certainly know that Stroh wants to be a Yankee, and it looks like it's going to be impossible for him to be traded with the contract. And I'm thinking, why not making something similar to what Nestor was a couple of years back, being an opener, being long relief, coming in the 6th inning possibly, put him in the pen, and it's a long season.
Because he'll be miserable.
Guys could go down.
But he's going to be miserable because he wants to reach 140 innings.
Right, but then the whole thing is with him, if he fizzles out in the second half, maybe that could help him from fizzling out,
I mean, you could look at it that way, but if you're him, you're thinking, I want to get that 140 innings so I could get the $18 million. That's the only way he gets the $18 million for the third year of the contract. Remember, he opted out of a $20 million deal with the Chicago Cubs to become a free agent. And the Yankees, for some reason, decided that they had to have him. And I think it was a mistake. But as I said at the end of the first hour, and I want to make it very clear to everybody, he's not doing anything contractually wrong. Let's not make him out to be the villain here. He's not the villain. He's a guy who's exercising his collectively bargained rights. That's all there is to it. He's doing what he's legally allowed to do. Pitchers and catchers, they always say, there's no greater words in the baseball lexicon. And we think about, sun and the grass and spring training and the crack of the bat. I get it. But that's not when you're legally obligated to be there. You're not legally obligated to be there. Well, what is Marcus doing? You know what he's doing? He's showing the Yankees, you're going to treat me like this? I'm going to show up exactly when I have to show up. I'm not showing up early. I'm not going to be the good soldier because you're not being good to me. This is not the understanding we had when we signed this contract, that I was going to be relegated to be the 6th guy, where I don't even have a chance. Because let's put it this way. Unless Marcus Stroman goes somewhere and puts up a big year, he is not getting $18 million from anybody next year. And it is beyond me, and it will continue to be beyond me, why the Yankees ever gave him $18 million a year. Sorry, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. He ran out of gas. I think he's an incredible athlete. If you stood next to Marcus Stroman and realized that he's not really a big guy and he's been able to win in the major leagues and be consistent, it shows you what an incredible athlete he is. But because of his size and he's getting older, he is going to run out of gas. Now, when we interviewed Brian Cashman on the Yankee Hot Stove Show, he said, the defense really deserted Stroman. Sometimes he had to get 4 or 5 outs an inning, and that's what hurt him in the second half. And that continues the narrative that the Yankees didn't have a great defense last year, and that's why they pivoted after losing Soto to building a better defense. But I watched all the starts. It wasn't the defense. His stuff is not dominating enough for him to make location mistakes. In 2024, last year, he's throwing 89 miles an hour with his four-seamer. It's hard to get outs that way. You have to be perfect. You have to live on the corners. And he wasn't doing that. So he's getting hurt. And he ended up throwing a lot of pitches, too, because he's smart, didn't want to throw the ball over the plate, because if you throw 89 over the plate, it's going to get crushed. This is a very complicated thing. I don't think it's going to be a distraction. I think they will end up moving him. And I know what Mr. C was saying, well, just have him pitch out of the bullpen. But then it becomes more of a problem. He's not going to be happy out of the bullpen. He's a starting pitcher. And when you're a long man, you're only going to pitch and mop up. You think he wants to do that? And in terms of being an opener, why would you want him as an opener? Who on the Yankee staff needs an opener? Now, occasionally if you have a doubleheader and you need a 6th starter, okay, you could play with an opener that way. There might be 3 such games all year. They're paying a guy $18 million for that. Speaking of money, I looked this up. You know what Aaron Rodgers made from the Jets for 18 games on the active roster? How much do you think he made in the 2 years for the Jets? I'll tell you. $75.05 million for 18 games. And the incredible thing is that he actually took a pay cut in order for them to be able to sign some of the players that he wanted them to sign. So he wasn't a bad guy in that sense. And a player of that ilk, getting him for essentially $38 million a year is not that expensive. But then when you look at the return of cost, they did not get $75 million worth of production out of him in any stretch of the imagination. They just didn't.